I marked just for fun the outside of the ring, and then I just took a sip. I'm like, oh, I just gassed myself.
Just high.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to ETTO's Catch Up, the only show. Today on the show, it's nice to be back.
Ooh, and self-titled field reporter Dolphin Pants gives me all of my news today.
Yeah, there we go. He's back.
Hell yeah. And I can hear the music. The music's back too.
It's all back. A very silly...
And now it's gone.
And it's finished. It's a very silly, weird change in the Discord or OBS. One of you made a dumb mistake in your code, and I don't like it, but we'll deal with it.
Dumb. How dare.
Josh can hear again, which is very important.
I can.
Did Josh die again? Is there any death stories, near-death stories this week, Josh?
I think I'm good.
Clear.
As I was telling you before, I actually got my car serviced today, so hopefully less chance of death.
This is the trilogy, and this is the end of that trilogy.
That's right. The car is in better condition than it was every other time. My bank account is not. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just die via starvation from running out of money and food.
Well, you're going to have to pay $110 for God of War tomorrow, so
It's true. It's true.
It's not over.
I am essentially planning to just walk over in my lunch break because there's an EV Games less than 10 minutes walk away now.
Yeah.
So I'll see if I can get it. We'll see what happens.
Boy. I've got stories, and none of them involve death. Although...
That's great.
One of them was a bit of a mess.
Ooh.
And,
messy, not death.
A bit of a dirty mess. But right. the first one wasn't a mess. Both of them involved the great city of Sydney. And the first one was just an accident. I stumbled upon the filming of a film that we talked about in a podcast a while back, The Fall Guy, the Ryan Gosling film, The Fall Guy, which is currently being shot in Sydney.
Right.
So that was cool. Where we parked was Australia Square, and outside of it, as we left, we were slowly piecing it together. We got there early in the day, and then on our way back was when everything was really kind of going on. But as we left, there was just a truck that had in duct tape VFX on the back of it. And I was like, that's weird.
That's so strange.
Really bizarre.
Awesome.
Really exciting. And then, Mum and Dad were like, the other day there was filming of The Fall Guy in... somewhere else in the city. So we were like, it must be that. And so, we went out, had a lovely day. On our way back, there was just a motorcycle with a camera mounted to the top of it. And we were like, all right, might stick around, I guess. That sounds pretty cool.
That's cool.
So, got to see a lot of the gear and stuff. We eventually, it was pretty cool. Like, obviously, I went to the Thor set to have a look around, and that was cool, but it was kind of very secluded and very much they built a set. Whereas this was like, actually, they locked down George Street from the Martin Place we're on it? Yeah, like Martin Place to the Apple Shop. That's how much. Basically, the entire tram line of George Street was gone.
That's a solid chunk of space.
Totally. And the cool thing was on every street light, they had mounted like a massive, two massive LED boards. So they basically replaced the street lights with just massive LEDs to light the street, which was like looking up and seeing shit that I'm used to Pete having on the ground.
Yeah. What the heck?
It was a legitimate street shutdown.
That's cool.
Every shop was shut. There's a few restaurants going, but they had been told to get the customers out by 8, and then they had to be shut as well. So the whole street was closed off.
Wow. They're probably getting paid for that too.
I'd hope so.
For loss of income, I would assume.
Totally. You'd definitely hope so. But yeah, we didn't ever see Gosling, but we saw his two stunt doubles, and they were very good. So it was like out of the corner of the eye, it was like, oh my God, but why would he just be walking in? But
that's so cool.
Yeah.
What the heck?
So really sick. And they used the Sydney trams. So I can't tell if they're going to like change, and they didn't change like the text on it. It still said Circular Quay. Obviously an easy thing to do in post, but I don't know. Maybe some of it's set in Sydney. Like
Sydney?
It feels, if you're going to use that much of the street and that much of the area, like, I don't know. I guess we're kind of in the same ballpark as a lot of like when they film in Vancouver and stuff. We're just kind of a modern city that doesn't really stick out in any way. But maybe it's just generic enough, but Australians will know. People in Sydney will know. Yeah, it's like the Mario Kart Sydney level. Like you'd see things like this, the green location signs, street signs, and stuff. But otherwise, it's kind of
like iconically Sydney. But yeah, otherwise it's relatively
just a fun track. Or like the Matrix when the red dress scene and all that. It's like that just is a place. It's not anything.
For sure.
So that was really cool. Got some photos. And it will be totally one of those things. And the best thing was, because we watched them film, basically all we saw them film were the trams coming in and then they'd go away and then they would come back. We watched that happen like 3 or 4 times, but it was fun watching the extras. Dad got addicted to one guy. And this was the other thing. This is why I think it might be said a little bit in Sydney. There was an extra in a high-vis that was like carrying an esky. And So it's like, it'd be weird if it wasn't Sydney. But Dad's very excited. He wants to spot that when the movie eventually comes out. Just see this one guy with an esky, which is very cute.
That's cool.
So that was that day. And then last night, I went to my first solo concert for the first time, which was great.
Hectic.
Very fun.
Nice.
This is where the mess comes in, because it was at the Metro Theatre. The Metro Theatre is actually great. It's actually surprisingly great. But like every time I go, it seems like it should be a gross like pub-like thing. As you're walking up the stairs, it's super dingy. And then it's just kind of like an old room and it's fine. Like it's quite nice.
Because that's where we saw and met Ballpark, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was the Ballpark one. But you have to line up outside. And so that's where the mess took place. I literally walked up, stood there.
Down the hall, down the alleyway.
Down the alleyway, yeah.
Yeah.
And within like 10 minutes, I was just standing there. Also, we'll get to the artist. I was definitely one of the 3 men there. And I was just standing there very like awkward. I'm already awkward in any social situation. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to anyone. And then I didn't feel anything physically, but I was standing there and just out of the corner of my eye, I was like, that's weird. And like looked and a bird had just shat all over my back.
No.
I was just like, no, that's cool.
No.
But like it was like shoulder, and it was messy and gross. But luckily, I had a t-shirt underneath, and so I just ran to the Maccas and in their fucking UV rooms that those McDonald's toilets have for whatever reason. But I was able to wash it and dry it, and it was all good and it was clean. But it was just like cool. Like I want to enjoy this night. Fuck you.
That's so annoying.
But in the grand scheme of like bird poo being good luck, I didn't even do anything there. I just held up my 2 fingers. I peace everybody. Turns out as I walked back, I was like, oh, there's 2 different lines. And I had bought VIP, which was like $50 extra. And I was like, fine. I was in the wrong line. So if the bird hadn't pooped on me, I probably might have missed out on my VIP experience. So, you know, and it was for Ash.
Tell me more.
Which is...
Oh, yeah. You mentioned her a couple of months ago, I think.
Yeah, so I've been addicted to her music. It's an Emmy recommendation, and I've fallen down that rabbit hole.
Very good.
I think the reason Ash kind of got big was one of her songs, and she was friends with, duetted with Phineas, and kind of that song blew up, and now she's continued to be massive. And it was great. So the VIP thing let you in early, and also was like it said Q&A, but it was just literally she sat on stage and talked to everyone. It was like 40 people. And so it was delightful. And I got a photo with people that it was like, you can stay with us for the night because like you don't have anyone here. It'll be fun. I never saw them again. So it's like, it's this photo with 2 other people and Ash. It's like, I don't know why I've got this. But I did get something signed because I was like, ooh. They came with lanyards and stuff like that, but I was like, something fun. Always like, if the photo's not fun, I like getting something fun signed, is the balance. And so what I got signed was, and I've already put it in a little plastic case, I got my parking ticket signed from the parking place. So there it is there. Audio listeners, you can't see it, but there's the signature. It's there.
Very nice.
And as I gave it to her, I was like, it was very cute because she was signing everyone's stuff. And then I was just kind of leaning there and she was like, I see you. And like ran down. And I was like, I wonder if I can get free parking if you sign this and I can't use it. And she laughed. And then as she was signing it, she went, oh, my last name's Wilson. So it's Ash Wilson. Wilson parking is one of the major things in Australia. That's
so funny.
I've got a parking ticket that says Ash Wilson on it. So
her full name.
Yeah, which is
that's great.
Wonderful roundabout thing. So it was a great night, and like I think there's a show. I know there's a show in Melbourne because aforementioned Emmy will be attending.
Of course.
So that's cool. I don't think there's any more. She started in New Zealand, did the 2 places. There's only 2 places in New Zealand. And then went to Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne, and is going back to America. So she started her world tour in New Zealand.
Wow.
So she's going backwards, basically. Most people would end
start.
here.
Yeah, okay.
But she's going that way. So, yeah. Really, really fun night. And, yeah, great music as well. Definitely, it's not a wreck, but it's a wreck. So, there you go.
Nice. Cool. Sounds good. I have no stories. I got nothing. Yeah, nah.
Josh, speak.
All right, fine. The author of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, John Boyne, or Boyne in the Striped Pajamas, as I'll refer to it. I probably won't.
No.
Has written another novel. Another novel has come out. It's called A Traveller at the Gates of Wisdom. Now, this does not sound like overly interesting news, but bear with me.
Okay.
The novel takes place in the era of 5th century ruler Attila the Hun.
Cool.
And I think I meant to rewatch the TikTok, but again, these are both
Dolphin.
from Dolphin. One of them's from TikTok, one of them is not. I think the person on TikTok also said that he kind of got pulled up because The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is about the Holocaust and stuff, and is apparently, like it's studied in schools.
Yes. Yep.
It's meant to be fairly, historically accurate, but apparently it's been pulled up for a whole bunch of inaccuracies and stuff that sort of
embellishments,
didn't do enough research and things like that. Yeah, pretty much. So it's happened again.
Good.
I'm going to read an excerpt from the book.
Are people angry about Attila the Hun?
No.
Okay.
You'll see.
Interesting.
All right. I'll read most of the paragraph because there's context and then So this is about making a dye to dye a dress. This is someone who is a sewer, makes dresses and things.
Yeah.
The dyes that I used in my dressmaking were composed from various ingredients, depending on the color required, but almost all required nightshade, sapphire, keyswing, and the leaves of the silent princess plant, octorok eyeball, swift violet, thistle, and hightail lizard. In addition, for the red I had used for Abrilla's dress, I employed spicy pepper, the tail of a red Lizzlefoss, and 4 Hylian shrooms.
Okay.
Does Hylian stand out to you at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So the author Googled a recipe for making red dye, clicked the first link that he found, and just chucked it into his book. Just chucked in the recipe. That recipe was from Polygon's Guide on How to Make Dye in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's insane.
And he just chucked it straight in his book, which is meant to be a relatively historically accurate book.
How deep
set at the time of Attila the Hun.
Did he not click into the link? Like, at what point did he copy and paste?
No idea. It's freaking insane.
That's
so
nuts.
funny. Yeah, so apparently he's taken the news and people calling him out in pretty good humor, jumping on Twitter and saying, "Someone remind me to add Zelda to the acknowledgements page of the paperback of Traveller when it's published." Oh Lord.
Good.
And yeah, the article went on and said, although this is the kind of mistake that could have been corrected in a future print run, or even sooner in the case of the ebook version, the author has apparently said that he plans to leave it as is.
Good.
Which is very interesting.
Good.
But that's where I come to question this decision.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that John Boyne knows who he's messing with here, because I think Nintendo is coming after
That's a
him.
fair point. You can't use that word.
You can't use anything from Nintendo's
That's
law
a good point.
in anything unless they're paying Nintendo for it, potentially.
Yeah.
So
That's
interesting
true.
choice.
Even fucking Ernest Cline wasn't like one of the characters is going to be Mario for fun. Even he's smart enough to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So
That's a good point.
I'm intrigued to see where that gets him.
Yeah.
Leaving it in.
Shit.
But it's a funny story, and I'm glad he's at least taken it in stride.
Totally.
But yes.
I mean, look,
I'm not going to read this book,
I was going to say,
despite that being there.
yeah, it's definitely at least pushed his book into a market that wouldn't have known it was existing without
true.
it. So maybe
Very
it was a good ploy. Speaking of good ploys, getting some cool actors in things, it's always good.
Ooh.
I will say, sometimes I don't like it in this specific franchise. Generally, I don't like stunt casting in Star Wars because I feel like Star Wars is such a... I mean, it is. It's a galaxy far, far away. If you think of like the original films, kind of the biggest names in them are Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing. And it's kind of like, who the fuck knows who they are? Like the children that are going to go see this movie aren't looking at these people. And I like that about Star Wars. They did it well with even both prequels and the sequels. Liam Neeson's probably the biggest name. Leslie Joshua. Oh my God. That was a good one. Liam Neeson was the biggest one. Ewan McGregor was still up and coming, but Hayden Christensen wasn't anyone. The sequels were the same thing. None of those actors, apart from, I guess, Oscar Isaac. It's like, there's a balance to be had. He's giving a blow. This is the sickest podcast we've ever had. So what I've got here is a list of the actors that have been announced for Star Wars Acolyte, which is a series that's filming at the moment. I think it's 2024. It's not next year. It's the year after. We knew about some of these people being in it, but just overall, this is the most stacked cast in a Star Wars thing ever. And I'm okay with it. That's what that thing was before. Because these are all actors that I feel like are still up and coming, or they haven't like landed that big role or whatever. So they actually, it's exciting. And it's an incredibly diverse cast as well, which is really exciting. But
it did look like that. Yeah.
Totally.
Based on some of the things that I've seen so far. And one in particular, which we are very excited about. And
more of that guy.
It's going to be great.
The first one is Amandla Stenberg, who I couldn't pinpoint from anything. She's kind of the least known, but she was listed on the most influential teens Times list of most influential teens, as well as her biggest role for me, at least. She was Rue in Hunger Games, so that's kind of
cool.
There's something there, but that's kind of the lowest bar, but also very exciting and great to see in the project. The next one is Lee Jung-jae, our guy from Squid Game.
Oh, yes. The main character of Squid Game, if people don't know.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have based on the name.
No. Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Number 43? Was he 43 or something?
Wasn't it the last one? Wasn't he like...
Yeah. 43 was the girl.
Yeah, wasn't he like 356?
Yeah, something like that. It's been a long time.
The main character.
But yes.
The main guy.
They're the two main characters in it as well, which is very exciting. So we'll see a lot of him in the show.
Sick.
Up next, Manny Jacinto, who played Jason Mendoza in The Good Place. Like the high guy, which is very exciting.
Yeah, sick.
I adored him in that. From his other roles, I could say he looks like he's actually a serious actor, which is good because that means he has that range. The next one, this one will excite you. I don't know if you looked at the picture long enough, but Daphne Keane, who was X-23 in Logan, she's in it.
Oh, sick. She's back.
Yeah.
We mentioned a while ago, it's been a while.
Yeah. She's in...
turned up for a while.
She's in the Mortal Instruments or whatever. There's like a BBC show of a gaming book. Editor Will here. It's actually called His Dark Materials, and it's based on novels by Philip Pullman. Nothing to do with Neil Gaiman. It's also produced by Bab Wolf, the company that are taking over Doctor Who. Fun facts with Editor Will. Now I'll send you back to the other one. But she's kind of leading that. But yeah, totally in terms of films and Disney stuff. But yeah, she's back. She's on the Disney payroll. So
sick.
What's coming.
Yes.
Jodie Turner-Smith is another one which I think some people won't be familiar with. I wasn't until I saw she was in one of my favorite films of this year, which is After Yang, which is Colin Farrell, and she plays his wife, and they've got an android son, and it's a good kind of sci-fi, simple indie film. But she's in that, and I adore her in that. Then these two, which were very exciting and weird that they were in sequence. Rebecca Henderson, who played the tall, short-haired friend in Russian Doll, the one that she keeps seeing at the dinner table chopping dinner. So she's in it. and I'm sure she's in lots of things, but we're playing the what we know route here.
Yeah, and probably mostly what we've mentioned on this pod.
Yeah, totally. So she's in it, and then alongside her is also Charlie Barnett, who played Alan. So the other character that's in that show that is incredibly relevant, but I won't say why because watch Russian Doll. Very exciting. I loved him in that show as well. Great, just performance.
Cool. We're
not done yet. Dean Charles Chapman, who was the old mate. He was the friend in 1917, not the main guy, but the other guy in the one-shot war film. Yeah, there was the main guy.
Right, yes.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was two of them.
I was saying yes to just the
idea.
The movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was Billy Elliot.
He was Billy Elliot in the stage, as with any British actor that is alive, basically. Because Tom Holland was Billy. Everyone's fucking Billy Elliot. That doesn't mean anything. Who cares?
True, yeah. I've only seen the film.
Yeah.
Freaking phenomenal.
It's a very good movie. Yeah. And then the final one is Carrie Ann Moss, who played Trinity in The Matrix.
Yes.
As well as Hogarth in the Netflix Marvel stuff. I think she was in Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I can't remember if she was the other one. But
cool.
Matrix mainly. But yeah, everyone's someone. I was really confused by there being two Russian Doll things. And then I read creator, showrunner, and executive producer Leslie Headland, who was co-creator of Russian Doll. So she just went,
there you go.
I like them. They're coming.
Yeah. Get some friends.
Yeah. Which is delightful. Yeah. So I hope that Natasha Lyonne somehow gets into the Star Wars universe.
That would be sick.
That would be a lot.
That would be such a choice.
She'd have to either be an alien, so she'd just be a voice, or she'd be along the same lines as the mechanic in Mando, like the frizzy head. I mean, it's a hair-based thing, but
yeah. Can she be the older version or a relative of that other frizzy head redhead from Solo?
Oh yeah.
Somehow related.
Yep. She's part of that lineage of Emphas Nest.
Yes. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. Or Carly in Winter Soldier.
Yes.
In terms of like a plot, if people don't know what Acolyte's really about, it's actually the most exciting show in terms of where it's set, because it's set before everything. This is set in the High Republic era.
Ooh,
so it's set before the prequels. It's set like 500 years before the prequels.
Wow.
And the idea of it is that a former Padawan, obviously Rue, I'll just say Rue, reunites with her Jedi Master, which I assume is Squid Game, which is very exciting. The idea of him as a Jedi Master is fucking exciting. To investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. Basically, the whole idea of the show is the rising of the Sith, because during the High Republic, the Sith didn't exist. There was a different threat there, and this is kind of the beginning of Plagueis and Palpatine and all those kind of things that build into the prequels. So very exciting.
That sounds really cool.
And it looks like from that one filming picture they put out that it's going to be similar to Andor and like less volume heavy and more sets, which is very good. Because for all my problems with Andor, it looks fucking good. So more of that would be great. But there you go. How exciting.
Cool. Very good. Well, from good choices to some questionable ones, or a questionable one at least.
Yeah.
McDonald's is continuing its exploration into the world of gaming.
Okay.
So, recently they dipped their toe into Overwatch 2.
Yep.
Handing out skins and apparently just playing the theme. In store.
Yep.
As you mentioned last pod.
Yep.
They have announced the McCrispy Ultimate Gaming Chair.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's a lot to this. Well, there's a bit to this. It's more than you want in a chair.
Okay. Which is just to sit on it. That's the only thing you want in a chair.
Pretty much. So there are only 4 of these in the world.
Okay.
One of them is being given away. It seems like 3 of them have been given to, I think, streamers,
of course,
who appear in the advertisement for it. I think they're the 3 that have the other ones.
Why does this happen? It's like the Xbox fridge. It's like, that's so much fucking effort for no one.
Yeah. Or that this honestly feels alongside the KFC console, which is just a nuck.
Yeah. That's so much effort.
This is basically just this. But this is, of course, a Facebook competition.
Yeah.
Just go to Facebook and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Up until midnight GMT time on November 13th. Mm-hmm. So we still have 5 days from time of recording, so we'll see whether people can jump on this. But some of the amazing features of the McCrispy Ultimate Gaming Chair from McDonald's include a fries holder, a drink holder, 2 dip holders.
Oh, God.
A hot box to keep your McCrispy warm.
Did they call it a hot box?
They call it a hot box. So I think it's literally a thing that just is warm. And just... And I don't know what a McCrispy is. I think apparently in the UK, a chicken burger was taken off the menu and now there is a McCrispy. So I assume it's a crispy chicken burger.
Chicken thing, yeah.
There is a built-in napkin holder and 2 reusable napkins.
Good.
With McCrispy branding, of course.
I would call that a tea towel.
It's pretty much a tea towel.
If you use a napkin more than once, that's just a towel.
Yeah. It's basically just a hand towel. A stain-proof leather treatment so you can enjoy your McCrispy in peace. Basically saying, this chair's going to get greasy.
Yeah. From
but
your
we're
body.
trying to protect it as best as we can. Probably from the body and also the food.
Yeah.
Modular armrests to allow users to swap their McCrispy, which is the handheld side, to one side or the other.
Okay.
So you can change the holders to whichever side you want.
Which also means you can take them the fuck off.
Yes, which is probably the best choice, but also is an ugly ass chair. Yeah. This chair looks so gross.
This is a yellow, and then there's just a stark black plush pillow.
Yeah. Plus, it's got all your normal gaming chair stuff, like lumbar support and that top pillow, as Will mentioned.
Yeah.
The whole design just looks like a normal gaming chair.
Yeah.
But it's just black and McDonald's yellow. It's insane.
I don't like that the writing doesn't like scroll. It's like nicely centered. It's like not sparse. It's too sparse, so it looks weird. It's like there should be another row of it, and it should be misaligned, so it's like covering the chair. But instead, it just says McCrispy just a few times.
It just looks gross. So the whole concept is disgusting.
Yep.
Like that is going to be an oily ass chair. Like,
it's the PUBG controller. Those fucking greasy machines. They were disgusting.
Yeah.
They were disgusting.
100%.
Cool.
Ugh.
Horrible.
Wild.
Good. Well, speaking of collaborations in the world of food, this one has no gaming relevance, but I've been doing a lot of breaking the news about things that are leaving in the world of Australian confectionery and fast foods.
You have.
And I wanted to do the opposite today. I wanted to give you great news in the world of probably just me. But
okay.
I was at a shopping centre last week. I was there for Sugo because Sugo Toys have opened up a new place. So I was nearby there, and I was like, had lunch, and I went, oh, I'd really like a drink. And I know Boost is like literally in the food court, but I knew that there was a cafe a little bit further down. I'm like, look, they might not have the thing I want, but if they do, I'll just, even if they don't, I'll just get the other thing. So I went down to Gloria Jean's, and as I approached the sacred grounds, a little plaque was sitting on top of the counter that said, "It's back." And it was a picture of the Tim Tam chiller.
Yes!
Which I'm just thrilled by.
That's great.
So
so good.
I've been barren for 3 years without the Tim Tam chiller, and it's finally come home. It's very exciting. Gloria Jean's marketing manager, Amy Page, says, "We are thrilled to relaunch this popular beverage within the network." Weird phrasing. Arnott's Tim Tam has a unique combination of contrasting layers of chocolate milk, biscuit, and cream, the perfect mix for a Gloria Jean's chiller. They saw the outpouring of my tweet a few years ago and went, we can fix this.
It must have. Absolutely. That's so good. I need to find a Gloria Jean's here because there's a lot of Starbucks in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I think there is one.
There's one at the train station and there's one near Target. I remember. One near Kmart or something. Near the the big one where the sky buses come in at the top
Southern
of it.
Cross. Yeah, okay. Yep.
There's one on the way to Marvel Stadium, and then the Kmart one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the one, in Kmart. Next to Kmart or Target.
Next to
Target.
The bookshop, the comics that are gone.
Yes. Yeah, on Burke Street. Yeah.
Yeah. So get the chillers into you, everyone. Yes. Very exciting. So I had news. Some good positive news, which is very
Hell
good.
yeah.
But it's over now.
That is the news.
Might get worse. Good. It's always, you never know when you're going to slide.
Never know.
Like, you could just never know. That was a shock. Welcome to the ad read. Still no ads, but go to your local. I'm struggling here. I'm having a stroke. I'm having Mames Bond's having a stroke. Go to your local Gloria Jeans and get a Tim Tam chiller into you. Patrons that are cool. Jep is very cool.
What's Jep doing?
Jep has a Dalek.
Oh,
Just a full-size Dalek.
where do I find this Dalek?
I think it's in the Doctor Who chat in our Discord. If you want to get to the Discord,
Okay.
Patreon.com. I'm having a stroke. Patreon.com/each-their-own. Jeff's got a Dalek, and I just think that's
does.
It's like a proper OG 60s Scaro Dalek, which is very cool. So I just wanted to shout out Jep. I don't know what Jep's socials are, but Jep's very cool and very creative. So if you can find Jep's socials, follow them and give them all your support.
It's Jep.
It's Jep. It's a Jep thing.
It's a Jep thing.
Shall we cue?
Let's cue.
Let's be very British. Let's
Cue.
cue. We're here. The cue is from yous.
We did it.
I've already copied and pasted a cue. So would you like me to start with that cue, Josh?
Go for it. Let's do it.
This one comes from Dion, who had an incredible Comic Cast review. Look forward to that Comic Cast. I assume this week or next week. We'll find out. God, I feel like Nicholas. I just felt like that like sly dig towards someone who's editing something of like, I don't know when it's coming out, but it'll be out hopefully this week, right? I don't care. Do it when you can do it, Ben. But Dion asked a very good question. What film do you think has the most iconic props? Which is a very cool question.
Ooh.
Now, there's like different lanes here because there are films that have like an iconic prop or like a few of them. Like, but then there's ones that have like, it feels like everything's iconic, every item. And I think you may be on the same path. But I think the first one I want to bring up is, maybe it's the trilogy, but Back to the Future. Because I feel like...
First thing that I thought of.
Yeah, 100%. Because everything that gets touched or held or shown in that movie is something I want.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And because of the different eras as well, it feels like part 2 has a different set of iconic props. And I mean, 3, not so much, but there's a lot less things in that movie. So I guess it doesn't really have that. But yeah, like, you know, a piece of paper that says "you're fired" is fucking cool in that movie.
Yeah, you can buy the almanac.
Yeah.
You know, you've got DeLoreans, you've got hoverboards, you've got
tape decks. Like,
for some reason,
Van Helsing or whatever.
For some reason, one of the things I thought of was the mind reading headpiece that the Doc uses in episode 1.
Yeah, just a camcorder.
First movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything
so
about
good.
those
like
movies.
shoes, clothes. Half the clothes are like super iconic.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm glad we both went to Back to the Future. Because like, you know, obviously Star Wars exists, but it feels like, I think the thing that also makes it most iconic props is that it ended. Like when I think about like, you know, Marvel or Star Wars and stuff, because it keeps going, they're not timeless in the way that those ones were. And I think in the same way that like you could say Ghostbusters, because it's like those things only really
That was the other one
exist.
that I was thinking of was Ghostbusters, because there's so many
Just gadgets.
iconic pieces of gadgets and things like that for sure. Yeah.
Totally. So like those two, I'm like, is there something in the modern day that I would consider iconic? Because surely we've made a movie recently that we could give the iconic prop status to. Like, and it's tricky because I think Back to the Future is I mean, it's the correct option. But like, there's so many ones that come to mind, but I'm like, that's just because I really like that movie. Because like, he's talking about props. Because in my mind, I leap to like the nice guys, just because their outfits are so like burned into my mind, and like just his cast and the car and the guns they use and stuff like that. But I think that is just a one of my brain. I guess the Tim Burton Batman films maybe as well, in the same vein of like iconic props and stuff. But yeah,
for sure.
I don't know.
I'm trying to
I think it's Back to the Future. I think we solved it.
I think it is.
It's just Back to the Future.
I think it just is.
Yeah. Please let us know in the Discord what you leaped to as well, because I've been intrigued to know if we're just right. There's no other answer.
Gave no other option there.
No.
That's great.
Another cue from you, from them.
Cool. Dolphin the Beowulf.
Oh.
I'm not sure what that's a reference to.
Oh,
exactly.
I know.
He has asked, recast a movie entirely with the Muppets except for one actor.
Yeah.
What film and who are you keeping?
So this sprung from my live stream on Halloween when I, excuse me, streamed the Muppets.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where that came from. And I was like, I'm not answering it here. Like, that needs to be a catch-up question.
Nice.
Have you got something that springs to mind? Back to the Future, perhaps?
I honestly, one of the first ones that I was thinking of was, of course, I jumped to a Marvel movie. I'm like, what Marvel movie and which actor would I like to keep?
Yeah.
And I feel like something like a Age of Ultron where everyone is a puppet except for Hawkeye.
Fucking hell. Yeah, cool.
And it's just Hawkeye and a bunch of puppets.
Yeah. I think we've gone the same train of thought, but continue. Because I've got something that I think is the same thing. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think because he gets that's one of the movies where he shines the most.
Yeah.
In any of his films. Or any of the Marvel films that he's in. I feel like he just shines the most, and I think it would just be so fun to have him just interacting with people, like, you know, his wife and his kids are Muppets.
Yeah, good.
The doctor that fixes him is a Muppet.
Yeah.
He's giving, like, epic talks to Muppets.
Yeah.
And he's shooting Muppets with, like,
the bow and arrow. Yeah.
Muppets with a bow and arrow. Like, I just think so much of that would be freaking insane.
That's so funny.
Like a Muppet trying to, you know, like change his mind and stuff, and then he, like, you know,
just grabs it by the bottom of it, and he's just nothing.
yeah, totally.
Rips it off the hand.
Like, I've been mind controlled before.
Yeah.
Like, didn't like it. Whatever he said. So good. I think that would just be a lot of fun.
I also love that like reaffirms how we view that movie. Is it just a Hawkeye movie?
Yeah.
Like, all the events that you said are just what happens to him. There's nothing else that happens in that movie. Yeah.
No.
I know this is like tripling down now on the same man, but not Back to the Future. I leapt to, because the Muppets are fairly musical. So I first leapt to La La Land, but then I was like, and keeping Ryan Gosling. But then I'm like, no, the funny thing would be The Nice Guys, and he's just fucking frustrated and doing Ryan Gosling-isms to just these Muppets all the time. Like, these Muppets are laying into him with a fucking knife into his leg, and he's like, and there's nothing he can do because they're Muppets.
I love that. I love him getting angry.
Yeah.
Like, that would be so funny. Also, like, any of his action movies, like The Grey Man.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
Either one would just work. Yeah. He's just so angry and annoyed all the time.
All I can picture him.
The Nice Guys again. I'm putting it on my list to watch with Max as well.
Put it on there.
I don't know if she's seen it or not, but it's going on there purely because I want to watch it again.
Yeah. Oh, good friggin' movie. Good friggin' questions. Thank you, everybody, for submitting.
Thank you so much.
From yous. If you want to submit those, go to patreon.com. No, I'll say it at the end of the podcast. I'll nail it at the end. I'll give it a few more goes. Are
you okay?
I'm fine. It's just asthma. And the annoying thing is, once I've coughed once, I'm fucked. It's like, it becomes a habit. If I forget about it, if I wake up in the morning and I forget to cough, I'll be good for the day.
Yeah. It gets the motor running, right? The first time you cough, it's like, well, I'm done for the day.
It's like peeing when you've had alcohol. It's just the human body is just a thing of habit. And if you can break it, then you'll be good.
Yeah, generally, I have the same when it's cold. It's currently freaking, like, warm and basically hot in Melbourne.
Oh, wow.
It's
okay,
great.
Good to know.
I love it. Yes. When it's cold and I get out of the shower, if I don't stay warm, I'm like, I'll try again tomorrow. I'll try and be warm tomorrow.
I've got no choice.
Like, yeah, that's it. It's all over.
Holy
it's all
shit.
over if I can't do it.
Good. Well, things that we can do is talk about some rec stuff. I want to make sure I play the correct thing, which I think is this one. It's time for the rec seg. No new cards, so you just have to listen to us.
That's fine.
Have you watched things? Have you played things?
Some cards. I've watched one thing.
Okay.
And it's going to sound weird, but there is one exciting thing in it.
Is it Back to the Future?
It's not. It's not.
There's only one exciting thing in that.
I did watch that a couple of weeks ago. I think I mentioned
You did bring it up, yeah.
But I watched Blended, the Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore film.
Okay. All
watched
right.
that last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
Say the interesting thing, because I think I may have.
Okay. Towards the end of the film, almost to the very end, ballpark music is playing.
Yes, okay, good. Yes,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
So random, but so good. I was stoked. No one in the house that I was watching it with has any idea who ballpark music is. I'm sure they would all love ballpark music, but they don't know who they are. But they were playing Nice to Be Alive.
Yeah, it's the best song as well.
So fun. It's so good. And it just worked in the film.
Yeah.
The film is pretty fun. It's pretty dumb, pretty fun. Terry Crews is in it as well. Like, it's just freaking strange.
It was kind of like they worked a while ago, let's do another fun movie with them. That was the kind of...
Yeah, it wasn't... I feel like it was only a year or two after 50 First Dates. Like, it feels pretty close. Mm-hmm. And I love him. I love Adam Sandler. I think he's freaking great. Like, I grew up on his movies, like
Mr. Deeds,
and your Happy Gilmore and all of that. Like, I love his movies. So yeah, even like, Uncut Gems was insane, so hard to watch, but still phenomenal. Like, it's a great movie, but so weird.
It's a different skew from the man.
It's just, have you seen it?
I think because it was on Netflix. It eventually made it to Netflix. Yeah.
And it's just, everyone just yell. It's just a movie of people screaming the whole time. That is all that happens in that movie.
No one has watched that movie more than once. You can never relive it.
It's so hard to watch. But I watched that. I really feel like that's basically it. Other than I watched half. I'm going to watch the second half. But there is a YouTube channel of parody musicals. Called Star Kid. This was, almost 10 years ago now. I think that they were kind of at their height, maybe. Maybe less. Can't remember. Anyway, I started watching Holy Musical Batman, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a full-length musical, split up, like, it's, multi-hour. It's like 2.5 hours or something. Split up into sort of 10 to 15 minute separate YouTube videos, but there's a whole playlist, so it'll just run through the whole musical. It's super amateur production. Like, none of the singers are particularly amazing. The main villain is Sweet Tooth. Which is a choice. I didn't realize, because I didn't know about Sweet Tooth. I hadn't heard about Sweet Tooth until the Sweet Tooth TV show came out. And I was like, I don't know what that is, and then found out it was DC related. And went, okay, it must have just been this random comic published by DC, but apparently Sweet Tooth is a Batman villain. I had no idea. I still have no idea. I didn't watch the show.
No.
I just assumed it was some other thing. Anyway, so he's the main villain. All of a lot of the other villains are in there or referenced. But Sweet Tooth is basically the head honcho of them. It's pretty funny. It's a good fun little watch. Like, it doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Cool.
You can tell that they had fun writing any scene that has the villains in it, because it's just non-stop puns.
Good.
It's absolutely insane. Like, think Mr. Freeze. But every villain.
Which I did at the start of the podcast. I did think Mr. Freeze.
There you go. Perfect. But like, just Mr. Freeze, that sort of level of, like, ice to meet you and stuff. And I'm pretty sure he does say that.
Good.
But just every single villain has, like, just does puns on their own name.
Good.
Sweet Tooth is the funniest, because the entire time, everything he says, he just pulls out a different chocolate bar. with exactly what he's saying. And
Yeah, cool.
I don't know how he's pulling out the right one every time.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. It must
Sick.
just have, like, pouches down his suit.
Yeah.
And he just keeps
In
going
order.
to the next one. It's amazing.
That's
It's
cool.
so good. Yeah, so I watched half of that last night.
Yep.
I watched the second half next time. I am with Max, my girlfriend. But yeah, it's pretty
Sick. Ah, cool.
so good. It's good fun.
I've definitely seen clips across the
Double
internet, so it's good.
Yes.
It's good to know the actual thing is good as well. It's not just
yeah,
moments.
like it doesn't take itself seriously at all. Just
Yeah,
it's just
cool.
good for a laugh.
Sick. Well, the two things I've watched take themselves incredibly seriously.
Great.
So, as John Cleese said repeatedly, now for something completely different. The first thing is Prey, which I finally got around to watching, which is the prequel to Predator. Surprising.
Yeah. Yep. Right.
So incredible film. Really, really good. Like,
Cool.
treats violence in a way that, like, I wish more films did. It's not shy from it, but it also doesn't glorify the kills. Each time any kind of action happens, it's like, oh, cool. I'm engaged with this. It's not just like, because with any kind of hidden monster film, by the time you've seen the monster, it's like, well, I'm out now. Whereas by the time you've seen the monster, you're not done yet. And like, I mean, it's very of the original Predator. So they did a good job. And yeah, this is really cool. So removed from where the franchise ended up. This is a new kind of bringing back to roots and also just being a lot more tonally serious. It's 90 minutes as well. So it's not overblown. It's so good. It's so in and out, which is great. Next film, I don't know if I liked it. It was a bit weird. It's called The Good Nurse. Firstly, that's...
Oh, yeah, I've seen this on Netflix.
Yeah. It's also a weird name because The Good Doctor already exists. It's a very different thing.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so The Good Nurse is Eddie Redmayne and Jessica Chastain. That's funny.
Very nice.
And it's kind of... Don't read the bio, because I read the bio and it's kind of like the film. Like, the mystery is definitely revealed fairly quickly, but the bio is just like, this is the mystery. And then she eventually works it out. And it's like, what the fuck?
I feel like I did actually read the bio for this.
Because the bio makes it sound like there's more to it, and there's not. There's not like an additional layer. So once you've read the bio, there is nothing to be shocked about. So my parents really enjoyed it. They were engaged. And like the film... It's very clear what's happening, for sure. Yeah. So, like, it's. I'm sure the trailer gives it away as well. But if you go into this completely blind, you'll definitely enjoy it more. It's kind of a not murder mystery, but like thriller kind of in the vein of like not Vertigo. What am I trying to think of? What's the killer they can never find? The Jericho killer, the Vertigo, the Zodiac killer. Zodiac. It's kind of that kind of film. Is he out there?
It's raining.
Oh, it's raining.
After just saying how hot and beautiful the weather has been.
Oh no, it's going to be humid.
I just looked at, like, I went out in a t-shirt, which I haven't done in years, probably.
Yeah. And now it's raining.
Half an hour ago, to pick up my car, and it's raining.
What a shame.
Hell?
And the Zodiac killer is out there. That's
and he's
crazy.
at my third story window.
He's riding a big crow. So I would definitely give it a rec. I think it's a little bit long, especially like Prey is a lovely is not the fucking word, 90-minute film, whereas this is like an overblown 2-hour 30, and it's like, fuck, man. Ooh. Like, it's very clear when a movie knows what it needs to be, and more 90-minute movies would be awesome.
So were both of those reasons, both it was quite long and you knew the entire plot already, do you reckon those attributed to the reason why you're like, I don't know if I liked it?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
If you went in completely blind and it was a little shorter, do you reckon you would have been
it would help. It's also just, I don't know if it's an interesting movie. Like, I don't know if the mystery is that, and yeah, you're right, maybe if I didn't know it at all, but it just is so like one note, and it's the first film. I mean, it's a really weird one because it doesn't feel like it was made for Netflix. Visually, it feels better than Netflix movies usually do, but it feels like a Netflix movie in every other way. And so it's weird to watch because I'm like, oh, I'm watching a movie I would see at the cinema, but then it's a bit shit. Which is it's a weird disconnect for my brain because Netflix movies usually have a style that allows you to switch off from it being like Netflix movies look a certain way, which makes you think about them in a different way. Whereas this looked like a movie, but was shit. And so it's like this weird dichotomy.
Sure.
But like awesome actors putting in really interesting performances. So The Good Nurse and Prey.
There you go.
Did you play anything?
I played more Gotham Knights. I'm still not loving it, but it's okay.
Yep.
It's still like the story's getting me through. I will get through this game.
Yep.
Hopefully I will, finish it if God of War doesn't completely prevent me from coming back to it. And then on top of that, we can also talk about Steel Rising, whether I'll get back to that game. That's the Renaissance era robot game.
Yep.
I feel like I spent way too much money on that game to not play it.
Plague Tale.
We'll see. And I think Plague Tale, I at some point got Plague Tale for free on Epic.
Good.
As well.
Okay.
Anyway, and I hadn't played, but need to jump on my Playdate. I thought it was right here because I saw a purple box, but it's the box for the case.
It's the box.
Because I should have 4 new games that I haven't played yet.
Oh, exciting.
So 4 new games since I streamed it. I haven't played it much since I streamed it. It's been a busy few weeks. But yeah, I believe the new games come out every Monday.
Cool.
And there's been 2 Mondays since we streamed, so should have a new game, few new games to play, which is
sick.
very cool.
Very
I think
exciting.
one of them was also the like flagship game that they kept advertising, which was the one with the robot guy walking.
Yep.
And when you turn the crank, it sort of moves time forward.
Sick.
Yeah. So I believe that's a puzzle game. So like, you move time forward and he leaves his house, and I don't know exactly how you do it, but it's basically like things will come at him, or like, a bird might fly at him and you have to duck at the right moment.
Yeah, right.
And if you don't, it'll hit him, but then you reverse time and you just have to time things out properly. And it's a bit of a puzzle time dilution game.
Yep.
So
cool.
Keen to check that one out, and whatever else comes out.
What a cool system.
The other ones. It's
what
so
a cool
fun.
little thing.
Yeah. Love it. That's it.
I played and finished a game since last pod. It's a game that I don't think you would expect. I played and finished a little game called Gotham Knights.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
In like 3 sittings.
What do you mean? Why?
Just because nothing else is out. And I was like, fuck it. I'll play and finish this dumb game.
You downloaded it again, the whole thing.
It was a dramatic deletion in the stream, but it's like 30 gigs, so it came back in an hour. It wasn't as big a thing. I finished the fucking game. It's done. I will say, you will not expect... Not story, no spoilers on it. Just genuinely, you will not think the game is over. The way it ends, I finished it. I finished it today, and it dipped to black, came back, and what was happening? I was like, no, that wasn't. Oh my. Okay, fuck. So
right,
it's definitely it ties up the story and stuff, but the way the game ends. Fucking broke me, because I was kind of like,
interesting.
I was like, I got into it and I could see what people enjoy. I wasn't enjoying it personally, but I can see the grind of it. Once you have all the traversal options it's definitely less annoying for sure. Yeah. And by the end of the game, all the little unlocks for combat and stuff makes it fun. It's still a very sticky combat. It doesn't feel good, but there's enough flourish there to enjoy. And I totally get that. So I was like riding a train of like, this is fine. The kind of cinematics and stuff that were going. And then, the final boss battle is just, not even the last hour was just a ride, and I'm excited for you to enjoy it because or experience it, not enjoy it.
Experience it. Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully someone else in the Discord has finished this game, because I need to know what they thought of the ending, because like genuinely not story related. It's just like the way it structures, and it doesn't feel like you've built. It feels like you've gone on a mission, and then the game ends.
Right. Okay.
It is mind blowing.
I'm almost thinking how I've heard Sopranos ends, where it's like mid-sentence.
Yeah. It's not quite that. There's definitely the game ends, but it's like the game doesn't feel like it's ending until something happens, and you're like, wait, we're just done? Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So
I was not expecting you to ever play it again.
Yeah.
Especially after I was like, I feel like I spent too much money on Steel Rising to play that.
Yeah.
You spent over double what I paid for Steel Rising and deleted it after an hour of playing.
Correct. Yeah, I just jumped in, and it is so easy to play. It's like you say, it's so nothing that it's like, I was just fine. Like I jumped in to do just to play, and then I looked up, not any spoilers, but I was like, where am I up to in a walkthrough? And it was like, I had like 4 hours left. I'm like, okay, like, sure, I can do that. So yeah. I'm not recommending it. Like, I finished it. I'm not saying anyone play it.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't gotten that far because I keep doing other side things.
That doesn't stop. The whole game is a story mission, and then out of the back of it, it's like, go talk to some people, and it's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like that is the only thing that happens.
I don't. Because I think I'm like mid the next Harley Quinn mission after the one we did, basically. Or the next main sort of thing where you go in. Did you do all of those? Do you have to do all of those?
I think I've only got like one more of... Because the way those... You don't have to do those because it's case files. So it's like you can just stick to the Court of the Owls thing and finish the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I think I finished the game... Probably deleted it again. With like one Harley left, and then I think one of the other. But I finished one of the because it's kind of the other villains that are in the game.
Yeah,
are the other side things. But yeah, I didn't finish Harley, and I finished Freeze, and then I finished Freeze, and I finished a character that I don't think you've interacted with yet, which was actually my favorite one. It's like the way that kind of trickles in is really cool. It's very emergent gameplay, like you're just doing the normal thing
to see Sweet Tooth in there.
That's him.
I bet it is.
You're flying and then you just get hit by a clunky. That's not a fucking clunky. It just merged so many different chocolates.
I love it.
Good. There we go. Oh man, imagine biting into a clinker and it's a chunky. Like it's just
yeah. It's a clinker, a Kit Kat chunky, a crunchy.
That's crunchy, yeah.
All of it. Violet crumble.
All in one. That actually sounds pretty good. Let's do that.
Sounds pretty good. I'd do that.
Is that everything we've been looking at this week?
That's pretty much everything. I got nothing else.
All right. Let's do the little sound. Thanks, guys. That's the podcast, everybody. That's the catch up. Sorry we're catching up on a different day this week, whichever day it may be, but we still wanted to get the catch up this week because it may catch up. It may not be out next week just because I'm in Melbourne, then I'm not in Melbourne, then I'm probably very busy. So there may be a day in lieu.
And you have been.
Week in lieu.
We were very busy over the weekend, nothing lined up.
Yeah. If you're following us anywhere and the things that we do, you can see things are happening. But we'll try and stream and play and do things. Life is very busy. It just never stops.
End of the year.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much happening.
Yeah. But I'm sure we will have a Black Panther podcast, both comic cast and spoiler cast, I'm sure, within the next 2 weeks. So look forward to that. And then, stuff.
Stuff.
There's no Friday Mate stream as well this week because we're seeing Black Panther. But
that is Black Panther. That is why Will is in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just to be away from this computer, be away from this room for a moment.
Good call.
So I'm looking forward to that. But that's all the content we've got. If you're listening to us right now and you want to see our faces, you can go to youtube.com/each to their own. If you're looking at us currently and you don't want to look at us, head to an audio platform, type in ETTO, you'll find us.
You'll figure it out.
Anything else we have, Josh?
Twitch? Did we say Twitch?
We didn't say Twitch. Yeah.
Twitch.tv/ETTOnline, ETT online. We stream sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Usually Mondays, sometimes Fridays. Not for a long time at this stage.
No.
And every second Wednesday, Will talks about plastic with the
Talk
Sam.
about plastic with the Sam. The Super Sam.
Super Sam. That's about it, I think.
That's it. That's it. We have a TikTok. Josh, no,
We have a TikTok.
We have a TikTok. That's right, everybody.
I had no idea. I didn't know.
He just found out again this week.
I just found out again.
Yeah.
I don't have a very good memory. We know this.
Yeah.
I probably will forget.
Let's start the podcast, Josh. You ready? You ready?
I'm Josh. Yeah.
No, we've got to press the title sequence first. Yeah, clap. Good.
Fair.
All right,
Good.
ready.